Kenya has just stunned the world with a discovery so vast, so transformative, that it could redraw the global map of mineral power. The East African nation has uncovered an estimated $62 billion worth of rare earth minerals, resources so critical, so strategically vital, that global powers are now circling like hawks. In a world where nations are racing to secure the materials that will define the next century, clean energy, advanced electronics, and defense technologies, Kenya has suddenly found itself sitting on a geological jackpot. But what does this mean for Africa? Could this be the moment when the continent finally becomes the heartbeat of the world's green revolution? At the center of this earth-shaking discovery lies Kenya's coastal formations, rich in an astonishing concentration of minerals that the modern world cannot live without. Geological assessments suggest that the country hosts nearly 40 million tons of rare earth-bearing ore, with an average composition of 5% total rare earth oxides. To put that into perspective, this single discovery could shift the balance of global supply chains currently dominated by China. Even more remarkable, these reserves also contain an estimated 680 million kilograms of niobium, a metal critical for aerospace technology, clean tech, and high-strength steelmaking. The scale of this jewel mineral find sets Kenya apart, giving it not just rare earths, but a combination of strategic materials that the industrialized world desperately needs. But what exactly makes these minerals so precious? Rare earth elements are the invisible backbone of modern civilization, found in everything from smartphones and wind turbines to fighter jets and electric vehicles. Kenya's treasure includes both light and heavy rare earth elements, neodymium, praseodymium, cerium, and lanthanum on the lighter side, and heavyweights like dysprosium and terbium, which fetch premium prices due to their scarcity and indispensable roles in permanent magnets and defense systems. It's no exaggeration to say that whoever controls these elements controls the technologies of the future. Is it any wonder, then, that superpowers are already jostling for a piece of Kenya's earth? The epicenter of this newfound wealth is Mrima Hill, a 157-hectare forest in Kwale County, just 50 kilometers from the port city of Mombasa. For years, Mrima Hill was known mainly to locals as a sacred place, a home to shrines, ancestral graves, and medicinal plants. Now, it has become the focal point of the world's mineral obsession. Beneath its forested slopes lie massive quantities of rare earth elements and niobium, valued at over $62 billion. Its proximity to Mombasa gives it an unmatched logistical advantage, allowing for swift access to global shipping routes across the Indian Ocean. With established roads, power lines, and customs facilities already in place, Kenya's rare earths are not only rich, they're accessible, and that makes all the difference. But what's truly fascinating is how this discovery has ignited a modern-day scramble for Africa. The United States, China, and Australia have all taken notice, and none intend to sit back and watch. Washington has already made quiet diplomatic moves, with the former U.S. ambassador to Kenya visiting Mrima Hill in a bid to secure sustainable access to Africa's rare earths. Meanwhile, Chinese nationals have attempted to visit the area but were reportedly turned away by local guards, a sign of just how high the geopolitical stakes have become. Not to be left behind, an Australian consortium led by Rare X and Iluka Resources has announced exploration plans, hoping to carve out their share of Kenya's mineral fortune. Could Mrima Hill become the next global battleground, not of weapons, but of minerals? The reason for this frenzy is simple: the world is running short on these critical elements. China currently controls roughly 70% of global rare earth production, a monopoly that many Western nations now see as a strategic vulnerability. The push for electric vehicles, wind turbines, and clean energy storage systems has sent demand for these minerals soaring. Kenya's discovery, therefore, is not just a local story. It's a global one. It offers manufacturers, defense contractors, and tech giants a desperately needed alternative source. And for Kenya, it could mean something even greater: the chance to rewrite its economic destiny. Imagine what $62 billion in mineral wealth could do for Kenya's economy. The government has already announced reforms aimed at expanding the mining sector's contribution to GDP from under 1% to 10% by 2030. With global powers vying for access, Kenya has the leverage to demand fairer contracts, local processing, and technology transfer. The ripple effects could be enormous: new jobs, industrial zones, and a wave of infrastructure investment across East Africa. Could this be the economic spark that propels Kenya into middle-income status, or even higher? And might it finally prove that Africa's mineral wealth can power African prosperity, not just foreign profits? Yet, amid all the excitement, a whisper of caution echoes from the foothills of Mrema Hill. For the local Digo community, the hill is more than just rock and soil. It is sacred ground, the spiritual heart of their people. Residents fear that large-scale mining could mean displacement, environmental devastation, and the loss of cultural heritage. Local forest guards have reportedly turned away visitors, warning against exploitation. Their concerns are not unfounded. Kenya's mining history is riddled with disputes, corruption, and broken promises. Back in 2013, the government revoked the mining license of Cortec Mining Kenya over environmental and ethical concerns, triggering years of legal battles. These memories linger, reminding the nation that not all that glitters should come at the cost of people or the planet. As Professor Daniel Wuru Ichengi, a retired economic geologist from the University of Nairobi, has observed, the allure of mining often hides the deeper risks of corruption and weak governance. For Kenya to truly benefit, he argues, national interests must come first. And indeed, this should be Kenya's guiding star, to balance ambition with accountability and wealth with sustainability. Can the country harness this newfound treasure without repeating the mistakes that have long haunted Africa's resource story? The timing could not be more critical. Across the continent, nations are awakening to the realization that exporting raw minerals has never brought true prosperity. Under the African Continental Free Trade Area and the African Union's Green Minerals Strategy, governments are now moving toward refining, processing, and manufacturing locally. From Zambia's copper to Namibia's lithium and Congo's cobalt, Africa is striving to capture more value within its borders. Kenya's discovery fits perfectly into this continental shift. If processed and refined in Africa, these minerals could fuel a new era of industrialization, one where Africa doesn't just supply the world, but builds the future itself. Kenya's rare earth bonanza, then, is more than a geological triumph. It's a moment of reckoning for the continent. The country stands at a crossroads between being another supplier in the global mineral race or becoming a leader in sustainable, value-driven industrialization. With the right strategy, Kenya could transform East Africa into a new hub of technological power and economic growth. But will it? Will Africa finally rise from being the source of the world's riches to becoming the architect of its own prosperity? As the sun sets over Mrema Hill, beneath its sacred trees and ancestral stones, lies a promise buried deep in the earth, a promise of transformation, of wealth, and of power. The world is watching, the superpowers are plotting, and Kenya is awakening. The next chapter of Africa's story may well begin here, in a quiet coastal forest where the soil glitters with the minerals of tomorrow. Your perspective matters. What do you make of Kenya's $62 billion rare earth minerals discovery that has sparked huge interest among global powers?